We are live. Hey, everybody, welcome to tonight's show. Hey, everybody. Hey, Seal, Grandma, Sleuth, anybody that I missed. Hey, True Texan.
Hello, hello.
True Texan, the title got their curiosity
Yeah,
going.
this is not true crime related at all.
No,
This is
it could be true, though. You never know.
no, it's absolutely not. It's based on basically it's kind of a game discussion where an actual game could actually actually might happen in real life, um, based upon a mutation that might occur in certain ecosystems. But it goes to the technical name of it is Ufuro cordyceps unilateralis, which is basically a fungi that infects ants and controls their muscles and eventually their brain to the point where it makes them want to go higher and darker areas. Then the fungi will do that to cause the ant to walk. It's called the zombie fungi type of deal. And then it will have a mushroom burst out of its head and shoot spores into any insects below.
Mhm.
And basically, The Last of Us is a game whereby it mutates and infects crops, and eventually people eat the crops, and then they become infected with this type of zombie
It's a lot more complex than
fungi. But that's just a
that.
simplified version. But
Yeah.
yeah, pretty
Well, you
much.
already said my part, so let's go to the scientific thing.
No, you could continue with the. You could probably explain it better than me. You keep on going.
Okay, well, real quick, everybody knows the show that HBO has right now. It's called The Last of Us, and there's two parts to the game. The game came out in 2013. It was Game of the Year. I actually downloaded it because I might be playing it. I'm not too sure. Not now, obviously. But it was Game of the Year. It was a really good storyline. So basically, they took real life what ifs that could happen and they put it in a game. And there's a lot of what ifs, but if everything, it's kind of like if the moons were aligned perfectly, it could happen type deal. So basically, in the game, um, it's kind of like what happened with COVID. It just came out of the fucking blue. People started acting crazy. When they got infected, obviously it was painful. The reason how they got infected was because it started up in Indonesia, and a little, real life fact here is that in Indonesia, it is the main place where we get our flour and grain. So it affected the crops. So people who were eating bread products actually got infected. And if you watch the first episode of the show, you would notice all the main characters were avoiding bread products,
So
pancakes,
So
you know.
basically, everyone that was vegan and also people that might be loving bread are gone, and all those people that just eat steaks and no bread are alive in this alternate future.
That's
Is that what?
dumb. Why would you say that?
It's basically all the.
There are people. I would rather have eating a steak is not going to make you turn into one of these people. Eating bread will.
No, no, no,
So
no, no, no,
don't
no. You
listen to
don't.
the vegan.
No, no, no. You don't get what I'm saying. I'm saying like all the vegans have turned into fungi people, and all the bread, all the people that eat bread become fungi people, and everyone that's kept to the carnivore diet of eating only meat are like the only ones alive in this alternative future. Like basically,
Probably, most likely. I mean, anything that had, that had a bread product into it. That's like anything. That's even
I
like
don't know.
some pastas out there. But we're
I'm
gonna talk
done.
more about the show because I think people know more about the show than they would the game. And
Yeah,
but
this is
yeah,
good.
so basically, it's a story about a guy who just tries to survive things. He's from Texas, and he makes it during this post-apocalyptic thing that's going on, is that he goes to Boston where there is one safe haven that is there, where people are, it's just crazy. People are there trying
Yeah,
to
the game.
survive. There's new government, and then there's side governments, like revolutionaries like the Fireflies and stuff. Like, it gets big. So we're going to tell you now, spoilers. I don't want to hear, "Oh my god, you just ruined it." No, the game came out in 2013.
But wait,
Okay.
Tony. Most of these people play Candy Crush, so I don't think anyone's gonna
Well,
play
I'm
this
just
game.
saying, if there's a spoiler that we talk about, it's not our fault. The game came, no, there's no excuse. Don't give me that. There's
All
no
right,
excuse.
all
The
right.
game came
Let's.
out in 2013, but it's a beautiful story. And it's all based on what ifs. Like if the moons were aligned.
Yeah, and the
Then,
horrible. So this is the keto diet future.
but
Okay, so
also
let's continue.
mind you, real quick too. It's not the first time our government has fucked around with fungus. If nobody knows, LSD is fungus.
Oh shit.
So,
Also
so if you get infected, you're going on a nice trip. Is what it's saying.
also, Tony, they did a study with fungi spores. They threw it into non-lethal fungi spores, and they threw it into the subway system on the subway beds, and it actually, the force of the trains pulling in caused such a push that it actually caused the actual spores to appear all 5 boroughs in a matter of weeks, even though it was only put into one subway.
Oh yeah, because because spores and infections are all airborne. In the game, it's airborne.
Yeah,
but
so
in the show, but hold on, don't rush me. In the show,
feisty man, you're feisty. What kind of Red Bull did you have today? Did you drink some energy drink?
No, this is really important to know because in the game they wear gas masks for a lot of the majority of meeting these. We're not going to call them zombies. We're just going to say infected. And but they didn't want the show to have them wearing the mask all the time, so it's a different infection. It's different. You get infected differently. It's the same concept. They just changed it, instead of being airborne, that it's bodily fluid and stuff.
You know what? Maybe we should start with the sciencey part first, and then we get into the show, and then you'll see like when we start.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me pull up the sciencey part, because let me just say, I'm going to pull it up instead. Let me see.
Yeah, shrooms, Seal, shrooms.
Of course, Seal says shrooms.
Shrooms.
Unbelievable.
They're legal in Colorado.
All right, here you go. So this is
shark.
Yeah, we're skipping the surf shark. Okay, that's the plant that we're talking about. And I'm getting the let me see. I'm trying to get the YouTube channel so I can drop it in the chat. Actually, Into the Shadow is not bad. Actually, it's not a bad channel. So has a lot of interesting stuff to put into it.
Would you consider them zombies, or would you? Because zombies are undead. These people don't die. If anything,
well, the classical concept of the zombie really was started, like, I think in the early, like, it was started with the such a movie called White Zombie, and it was like basically the concept of using some sort of powder to like kind of control someone. Like, or hypnosis. I think another one that was like another movie was hypnosis.
But that's brain dead.
No, like basically it's based on like that movie, The White Zombie, was based upon like actual a little bit on the voodoo practitioner. Like if you go to Haiti, there's actually a chemical that they produce that they will blow into you or something like that, or they'll put in your drink. I don't know, but eventually you go into this kind of close comatose sleep where you're so close to death that a doctor can check your heartbeat and they think you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
And then they bury you alive in Haiti. And then the voodoo doctor will come and he will dig you up and give you some more pills and make you work in the fields. And that actually has happened. There's been one guy that actually walked out. So that's the whole idea of a zombie.
Oh, is it like the same thing that the guy used in the first Saw movie? He was laying there the whole time. Spoiler alert!
Yeah. Yeah, but that's what happened. So that's how the whole origin of the word zombie. And then it transformed with George Romero with the whole, undead thing and all that stuff, and it just transformed more.
Yeah.
So this would not technically be zombies. This would be more like an infection, like a zombie, like it would be like more of a fungi infection.
Okay.
I did not get that from Miami Vice in the 90s.
Tony mentioned LSD and fungus, so I was thinking, yeah, shrooms. They use it in LSD, and we already know the CIA has used LSD in some experiments.
Yeah. But anyway, let me play this.
Ants. Well, you just link in the description box below. And now, today's video. Ophiocordyceps unilateralis is a parasitic fungus that infects...
How the hell did he say that word?
Say
first? He just said this word. How the hell did he say this word?
Ophiocordyceps unilateralis is a parasitic...
Because he's British. They're smarter than us. What the fuck? Why do you ask silly questions? He's British. Of course he can pronounce it. Look at him.
Of course.
He's wearing a jacket.
Yeah, of course this guy can say this word. I don't know how. I could say the first word, but the second one is like unilateralist. It's like, okay, bro.
Is that even? Did you even say it right? I felt like you didn't say it right.
Let me
Did
see.
you say it right?
Okay, I said, okay. Ophiocordyceps unilateralis. Let's see if I said it right.
Now, today's video. Ophiocordyceps unilateralis is
No, I didn't say it right.
Oh, few.
A
So,
few.
so to be short, we're gonna use the shortened term of it, and it's cordyceps.
Yeah, we're going to use the dumbed down American version because I don't feel like butchering this word every time I say it.
Yeah, he practiced. Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Nicole.
a parasitic fungus that infects ants. Well, I say infects. What we really mean is that it consumes ants from the inside out, replaces their tissue with fungus, controls them like a puppet master, kills them, and then uses their corpses to launch another wave of spores. And if that's not enough warning, just a note, this is probably not an episode you want to watch while you're eating.
Is anyone eating? I forgot to ask that in the chat. Is anyone eating something? Because this probably is your warning to not eat something while we're doing this stream.
They got their warning.
Okay, you got one.
They got
Let's
the
get
warning.
into it. As a fungus, Ophiocordyceps unilateralis thrives in dark humid environments, in particular the floor of tropical rainforests in regions like Thailand and Brazil. Its prey of choice are canopy-dwelling carpenter and bullet ants. Seemingly as a way to avoid deadly fungal infections, these ants spend the majority of their time.
What'd you say?
Ooh, bullet ants. Are those the ants that some of the tribes down there that they use to become man?
Yeah, it's just why they call it bullet ants, because it feels like being shot with a bullet when they bite you. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
the
It's the
So-
same ones they use. Okay, I was just making sure those were the same ones that they use.
yeah, pretty much.
Foraging in the treetops 20 meters above the ground. However, sometimes they have to venture down to the forest floor if there's a gap in the canopy that's too difficult to cross. As far as scientists can tell, because, they're insects, they do this pretty reluctantly, as whenever they reach the ground, they'll spend no more than half an hour there before ascending another tree. Unfortunately for the ants, this short window of time is all it takes for a fungal spore of Ophiocordyceps to land on them and attach itself to their cuticle. At this point, the spore will germinate and begin its attempt to break through the exoskeleton. It uses two methods to do this. Firstly, it excretes the enzymes chitinase, lipase, and protease. These begin digesting and weakening the ant's cuticle. Secondly, it forms an infection structure called an aprosorium. This can exert
All right, stream, say it with me. A prosorium. A
ABC.
prosorium. Hi, BC. A prosorium. Okay, well, this is the learning
Hey,
stream.
Bushes.
Hi, Bushes.
enormous
Hey,
mechanical
Jasmina.
pressure equivalent to the
All right, now you're... No, I'm joking.
inside of the wheel of a Boeing 747. Pretty soon, it becomes strong enough to blow a hole through the cuticle. It'll then send an infection peg past the ant's defenses, allowing the fungal material to flood into its body.
Colonization, guys.
And ants are
By the way, that is so
Mhm.
British how they spelled it. Do you know why they use the S instead of the Z in a lot of spellings? I heard this like America, I think it was Benjamin Franklin decided he didn't want like the English language in America to be so much like Britain, so they just changed like certain spellings of words randomly in the United States. So certain things have S in
We
it.
changed everything. Like
Yeah.
we don't even know proper measurements
So-
or anything like that. I mean, even
So
in
this-
Canada they spell it like that.
Yeah, this is the British way of colonization. So no, not everyone doesn't know how to spell it. It's just so if you see that, so
Hey, Joneson.
hi,
An
Jones.
ant's circulatory system is known as a hemocoil, and once breached, it lacks any defense against the fungus. The single Ophiocordyceps cells are free to travel, and they multiply quickly. This alone would be bad news for the ants, but the fungus has another, more creepy than a cuticle-piercing infection peg trick up its sleeve. The single cells can join up with short tubes called conidal anastomosis.
All right, Tony, read that word.
Conidal asmostosis tubes. It's real. I'm offended that you would ask somebody who has verbal dyslexia to read that.
I want to fuck with you. We have to keep the stream a little
looks-
entertaining. We can't
it looks-
have, like-
Doesn't it look like a spider though?
Yeah, it does. We're gonna find out how fucked up this thing is.
Hey,
tubes
Paulo.
or cats. These allow for both communication and the transfer of cell contents. In other words, they let the single cell begin working together as one horrifying superorganism. At this point, the fungus could kill the ant outright. It wouldn't take long for it to destroy its neural tissue and consume the insect from the inside out. However, by this time, the ant would have made it back to its colony, and this would be suicide for the fungus. You see, ants have to be pretty heartless when it comes to dealing with sick colony members, as they lack a prophylactic immune system and have to rely on social
Okay, now
immunity.
he's just showing off.
Yeah, he's definitely showing
He's
off.
showing off. We know you fancy. We see the blue
Listen,
light.
stop with the $3 words here. Let it.
Right.
You know, some of us went to public high school here. or
Like
something.
we could die. This could happen, and you're trying to be fancy on YouTube.
Yeah, you need to like make it a little bit easier. You got to say, ants no immune system. Ants have no immune system. And then
Ants
just
are
like-
pussies. They could die by mushrooms. That's all I need to know.
Yeah, like it's straight extreme. Like the Trojans. Yeah, pretty much. Let me see.
Basically, it's like the Trojans. We are talking about the historical fact, not the condom, which are both in the same.
Dead. This is just Pat's way of saying that if they
fucking
spot an ant,
anything.
yeah, I don't say anything. I just like, okay, moving on, guys, moving on.
looking a little bit peaky, they're going to send a soldier to grab it and dump it as far away from the nest as possible. Being disposed of like this would leave the fungus with no access to new hosts to spread its genetic material into. Even if the infected individual managed to go undetected, it still wouldn't be great for the fungus. This is because the ants nest high up in the canopy, where the temperature and humidity are wrong for.
Why? That's an ant nest.
Oh no, I said, oh wow, yeah, because here, I don't know about y'all, but in Boston, ants, all ants are in the ground. I've never seen a nest.
Yeah, imagine if you walk under that tree and you actually hit that tree and that thing falls on your head.
Yeah, no.
So-
No. One of
and
the
they're all
reasons
bullet
why-
ants.
Yeah, one of the reasons why I won't go visit Brazil is because I could die.
Well, there's
Like,
a-
they have a lot of wildlife. Like, it's like, do you want to go to Australia? No. No, I don't. What does that say?
let me
You
see.
texting how about their
Army player.
the fungal growth.
growth?
If the
Yeah, they're
insect were to
deep.
die there, it would be almost impossible for the fungus to reach maturity and release its spores. One scientist in Brazil decided to test this and put
See?
infected corpses into several.
Yeah, Brazil.
See?
you know.
Yeah, no, fuck that. I'll enjoy the country
We're
from
gonna
afar.
we're gonna try to raise money to send Tony to Brazil. He's gonna give us 401 on all the ant life.
Oh,
He's
no,
gonna
no,
let
no.
the, he's gonna let the
I-
ants bite him for a live stream.
I got
Lamp
family
nest.
there. I'll be set.
Yeah.
None of them grew a decent stalk, and even if one had managed it, wiping out an entire colony would leave no tasty ants for the next generation of fungus to brutally murder.
Brutally murder.
Can you pronounce this, Belial?
Let me see. Mind
Sound it out. You got it.
Central? Is it Central?
Yeah.
See, guys,
American public schooling for you.
Thank you, guys. I figured it out. I knew Hooked on Phonics worked for me.
Screw Brazil and screw Australia. Exactly. No, I mean, beautiful, beautiful places to visit. I just don't want to die.
Once the fungus has fully colonized the hemicob, the brainwashing part of the story begins. In an ideal world, a predator requiring such specific climactic conditions for survival would have its own body and brain to control it. But as fungi fortunately don't have this, Orpheocordyceps just borrows that of its victims. With headlines like zombie ants and mind control fungus, most people assume the next step for Orpheocordyceps would be to start invading the brain. However, cut up any ant dying from the infection, and that would be the only place where you wouldn't find the fungus. The brain is essential to get it where it needs to go, so it can't risk damaging it. Instead, the caps that I mentioned before spread to completely surround the ant's muscles, and in some cases penetrate the muscle cells themselves. a peak infection between 40 and 50% of the ant's body will be fungus. Then the cells begin secreting chemicals that force the individual muscles to twitch, contract, and spasm. This gives the fungus control over the ant's movements like an untrained puppeteer with a particularly ugly marionette. As the infection progresses, the ant's body is
So if you don't realize, it takes over their muscles, so their brain is still working. So imagine if you had full consciousness of what was going on, and your body was moving on its own.
Which is what you're going to find in the show as well. This will explain why most of the people infected in the show and in the game, you can hear them crying. They know what they're doing. They just have no control of it whatsoever. And they don't want to do what the fungi is telling them to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and Jones is like, I can't believe you haven't seen an anthill in real life.
I've seen one. I just haven't seen one in a tree.
Yeah, he says, oh, the fire ants have killed off the horned toads. That's fucking horrible.
I heard about that whole thing. There was like a war, like a little animal war with them.
Yeah.
is flooded with more and more chemicals designed to manipulate it. The fungus uses sphingosine and guanidinobutyric.
Okay, that's your word now, Tony. Read that.
That is very racist of you. Like,
Okay.
I know one word into this, and that's acid. You know, I like acid.
Like, okay.
Schifalogacine, I almost said Guadalupe.
Guadalupe.
I almost went Spanish on y'all. Guadalupe, it's spaghetti Guadalupe acid.
Okay, let's see if Tony was right.
Designed to manipulate it. The fungus uses sphingosine and guanidinobutyric acid.
That guy even had a hard time saying that. That guy even had a hard time.
I was close. Y'all can say that I was close.
It's like, bro, these scientists need to make easier goddamn words, because if you can't even say, imagine if like your life had depended on actually saying this word really quickly to explain the chemicals to make a cure, and you're like literally like you can't even say it. Like, fucking make the word smaller, please, guys.
It's a hell of a mouthful, which are known to be in neurological disorders, and hyperxanthine, which damage
Hyperxanthine. See how smart I am?
neural tissues. These alter the ant's motor neurons and remove any control that the insect had left, trapping it as a prisoner in its own body. At this point, the fungus can begin its mission to get the ant into the optimum position for growth and spore release. Controlling the movement of a whole body is tricky for a brainless fungus, and the infected ant will stagger around the canopy like a drunk. But luckily for Ophiocordyceps, the destination is the forest floor, so falling from a few leaves and branches is just a quick way of getting there. Once grounded, the next job is to locate a prime murder site. This is a north-facing leaf, almost exactly 25 centimeters from the grounds, with a temperature of between 20 and 30 degrees Celsius and a humidity between 94 and 95%. A task that's next to impossible for humans, but easily achievable for a fungus whose only method of movement is to trigger individual muscle contractions in an ant. Another important factor is that the death spot shouldn't be too far from the ant's original nest. This is because the fungus needs to make sure that it's in range of its next victim. This results in tens or sometimes hundreds of zombie ants ending up in the same area of the forest, forming so-called graveyards with up to 26 bodies per square meter. Unfortunately for the remaining colony members, these are always in locations that foraging trails need to pass through. This creates a sniper's alley for the foragers and a handy delivery type situation.
What don't you get?
I don't get how an ant can grow something out of its head and the other ants not be like, Todd, what happened to you?
No, that's after it dies. It pops out of its head.
It pops after it dies?
Yeah, when it's about to die, it explodes out.
But that other one wasn't dead and the thing was popping out.
Yeah, well, sometimes it takes a little bit longer.
Tell me. If something's weird with me, tell me. I don't want to end up like the ant.
I'm about to run out with a damn pen.
How big are these ants? About the same size as any ant. It's not like a red ant, but it's probably like a good black ant. You know, like one of those fat black ants.
Yeah, pretty much. But now you know that the only thing keeping you from being killed by these fungi is that there's not a huge amount of humidity.
Situation for the fungus. Once the ant arrives at a suitable leaf, Orpheocordyceps waits until almost exactly solar noon, and then it forces the insect to sink its mandibles into a primary or secondary vein. And yes, the fact that a brainless fungus can tell time is potentially more disturbing than the fact that it can measure temperature, humidity, and direction. So I suppose we owe a thank you to the scientists who spent weeks watching a bunch of zombie ants night and day for making us aware of that. To ensure the body remains in the fungi's chosen spot and to reduce the chance of it being dislodged by rain or predators, the ant then needs to be locked in place. To achieve this, the fungus releases chemicals that atrophy muscles and destroy mitochondria. This process reduces the energy available and ensures the mandible can never relax, resulting in a death grip on the leaf.
Sounds fun, Tony. This is really great. This could possibly happen.
I'm a sleuth mom. This is why I don't eat mushrooms. Mushrooms are smart. Sometimes us as humans, we forget that there's intelligent life all around us. We just don't really. We're so egotistical that we're not thinking. A simple little ant with a mushroom on it could fuck up our whole system.
Yeah. Eruption.
Now the fungus enters its most vulnerable stage. It needs to grow a stalk and release its spores, but because it's stationary, its risk of attack from insects and other fungi is greatest. To strengthen its position, hyphae are shot from the abdomen to secure the body to the leaf. The fungal tissue grows into cracks and crevices in the weak spots of the carcass, and it fashions a protective coating to defend against microbes and other fungi. Finally, the ant's put out of its misery and allowed to die. 75% of the cells in its head are now fungal. Within a couple of days, by far the most disgusting part of the process begins. The stalk of the fungus erupts from the base of the now dead ant's head. Like an enormous antenna, it protrudes as far from the body as it can reach. Somewhere along the length of the stem, a large ball will form. This is essentially a massive fungal testicle, and it's filled with spores. After a week or two, it'll reach maturity, and the spores will be released, ready to shower down on the next victim and begin the whole delightful cycle again. Orpheocordyceps unilateralis is such an effective ant killer that it could be capable of wiping out colony after colony. Fortunately for the ants, though, there is such a thing as an ant-eating, fungi-eating fungi, or hyperparasitic fungi if you want something slightly shorter and less confusing.
Yes, please. What the fuck?
Thank you. That was actually very helpful. Please.
Yeah. Why couldn't you do that for the rest? And oh my god, the guy had the poor ant has a testicle on it.
Yes, it does.
You don't find the humor in
the ultimate the ultimate teabag of the poor ant.
Okay, I like that. That was good. That was good.
This is a type of fungi that can infect the Orpheocordyceps and castrate it, rendering it unable to produce viable spores. The little hero fungus is so effective at smashing fungi gonads that only around 6.5% of Orpheocordyceps.
Yeah, jeez. So
fungal gonads. And yes, we did a trigger warning. And we also did a spoiler warning. Spoilers.
Yeah, definitely.
Able to infect new hosts. This, of course, is no use to the ant who is long dead before the hyperparasitic fungi show up. However, it's nice to know that it's been avenged with a bit of sterilization thrown in for good measure.
We're getting to the good part, people.
Good lord.
As if the entire process wasn't nightmare-inducing enough, let's talk about whether or not Orpheocordyceps unilateralis could make the jump to humans and turn off.
Now he's just showing off, okay?
No, he is. Okay, now just get to the point. We spent 10 minutes, almost 11 minutes with you using fancy words, and now you want us to get excited at the last 5 minutes of the show? Come on, let's get to it. Is it going to hurt us?
Yes.
I don't want a testicle growing out of my head.
Wow.
That's not where I wanted it.
Our innards into fungus.
You are not funny tonight.
Already been graphically illustrated for us in the game The Last of Us, where fungus turns humans into mutant mushroom clickers, if you want to see what that might look like. Obviously, the game is a work of fiction.
Wait, what?
But...
Yeah, that was a clicker. He showed a clicker.
He flashed a clicker.
Yeah, he flashed a clicker.
When I first watched
makes the jump to humans and turn our innards into fungus. The idea has already been graphically illustrated for us in the game The Last of Us, where fungus turns humans into mutant mushroom clickers, if you want to see what that might.
That's a clicker.
Okay, yeah. That's a clicker. That is a old clicker.
Yeah, so basically in the game, that's what you look like when you go into like the first, like, but what is that, the second stage of infection?
It's the second stage, which could take up to 20 years to do.
So,
Yeah. If you get bit on the neck area and like closest to the head, you transform faster, you get infected faster. But if you get bit on the arm or the leg, you have like a day to say your goodbyes. But if you get bit on the neck, 15 minutes.
And just imagine that your whole body is being controlled and you have the same mental capacity and you can still think and feel and everything, but you can't control your body.
That's why they cry. That was the saddest part because I didn't know why they cried.
Because they're still there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the game lore, all the clickers you kill, they're still human inside.
Does he explain why they call them clickers?
No. Well, I don't know. We'll see. I didn't see that.
I look like. Obviously, the game is a work of fiction, but unfortunately, it's not as unbelievable as you might think. In 1954, a batch of grain infected with a cordyceps fungus, similar to the zombie ant.
Imagine finding that in your meal.
It kind of looked like a crab leg.
It's a spider.
Yeah.
Fungus was delivered to a small French town. Consuming it induced hallucinations and manic episodes in the residents, resulting in one 12-year-old girl trying to kill her mother with a kitchen knife. However, before you start stockpiling antifungals and smothering yourself in athlete's...
I like how he just like fucking glazes over that part. Like this woman, this 12-year-old has basically started seeing things to the point where she tried to murder her own mother.
Yeah. Are you looking it up?
I am looking it up, actually.
I heard the clicking and I was like, good. Because you got to remember too, again, the biggest portion of LSD is fungus. It's like shrooms. So people are not in their right mind whatsoever. Like when you take LSD, it's different. Obviously, you're in a safe place, if you want to trip out on shrooms. But this is a shroom that you have no control of whatsoever. Does that make sense?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm trying to look it up now.
Did this happen in Indonesia or?
Yeah, I think so. Let me see.
Cindy, you're making a great case why not to be vegan.
Why not to eat bread? Yeah, this is your last call. I'll just go on the no bread diet. You're gonna be just like the menu where the bread is for the poor, just like the fucking TV show, the movie.
Hey Jen, hey Georgia Peach, hey Sticky.
Let me see. If anyone's not sure what we're going through with the Last of Us game and how there's a real there could be a possibility that a fungi infection could round and cause the end of civilization.
Yeah.
So it's a very happy topic. It's a very good heart feeling topic. We're really getting into the hearts. And I'm trying to find where did this guy get this information leave here?
Well, I know that the outbreak happened in Indonesia because workers were cutting corners and they weren't really paying attention. And I think the FDA, the American FDA, got involved in stuff. And that's what I heard from one of the informational videos. But I don't know. I don't remember that case. I just remember that several people were hospitalized and they had to stay in the mental ward for the rest of their lives.
Very, very good. Let me listen to the part now.
In 1954, a batch of grain infected with a cordyceps fungus, similar...
1954.
Let me see. 1954 cordyceps.
And this one infected a spider, not an ant.
Let me see. I'm trying to see top cordyceps.
Cordyceps, yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, it's cordyceps. Technically, or Orfeo, whatever. I'm not gonna fucking. Let me see.
We're not gonna say that word again.
Let's go back to.
You might have better luck than me.
This is not Sheriff Sark. That's the word right there.
Oh fuck! We're trying.
Furrow. Let's let this British guy say it.
Infects. What we really mean is that infect these video. Ophiocordicep unilateralis. Hello, and now today's video. Ophiocordyceps unilateralis is a parasite.
That's the word. Okay, so we've.
But we're gonna dumb it down, cordyceps.
Yeah, we're just calling it cordyceps for the sake of argument.
We're not good with big words.
Unfortunately. We're going to make you watch it over and over again to learn. No, I'm joking.
Foot cream. I should probably mention why Ophiocordyceps making the jump to humans would be extremely unlikely. You see, zombie ants are not a new thing. Thanks to the discovery of a fossilized leaf with the perfectly preserved and very distinctive dumbbell-shaped scar of a death grip, we know that Ophiocordyceps has been gruesomely killing carpenter ants and bullet ants for at least 48 million years. In all that time, it hasn't made the leap to another ant species, never mind humans. The reason for this is that the mechanisms the fungus uses to assume control are incredibly specialized for the victim species. There have been a few cases in different ant types, but infection rates and spore viability were massively reduced. This isn't to say, though, that it's only carpenter ants and bullet ants who can fall victim to parasitic fungal infection. In fact, most species of insect have their own species of cordyceps specifically adapted just for them. For example, Entomorphthora muscae forces flies to climb to a high...
Okay, Tony, that's your word.
He struggled with that. If he struggled with that, I'm going to struggle with that.
Oh, okay. Where the...
spot and assume the death pose. This involves straightening their legs, opening their wings, pointing their abdomens upwards, and forcibly ejecting spores to rain down on others. In another case, Mesospora cicadina causes part of a cicada's abdomen to fall off and be replaced with a spore-producing plug of fungus. As the host is kept alive, the cicada continues to fly around, sprinkling spores like a flying salt shaker of death. They'll even respond to the mating calls of both males and females to spread their fungal STD as widely as possible. Finally, Ophiocordyceps.
Holy shit. That is fucking crazy.
Y'all, nature ain't safe. Nature ain't safe. Stay inside.
Stay inside.
Stay inside.
That is nightmare inducing.
That's a worm, too. Oh, God. So they're slowly infecting different types of life. Like at first it was just ants, but now they're finding studies with cicadas, and I guess this is a worm.
It looks like in the Last of Us universe, everyone that is on the keto diet is alive. So probably that's why all those people are survivors and they're all jacked up and they got muscles and everything. They're probably just on the keto diet, constantly working out or something like that. I don't know.
Sinensis preys on ghost moth larvae, producing a fruiting stalk that erupts from their heads like the horn of a unicorn. Naturally, as it looks like a horn, it's often harvested to aid sexual stamina in traditional Chinese medicine.
What?
I don't know, but I know what asexual is.
Did he just say like people actually harvest that so that they can get hard-ons in China?
Well, China has a lot of weird customs. I mean...
oh my God.
A fruiting stalk that erupts from their heads like the horn of a unicorn. Naturally, as it looks like a horn, it's often harvested to aid sexual stamina in traditional Chinese medicine.
Oh my God, pause it. Do you remember that episode of Futurama?
Yes.
And they called the horn the nose, and they took Fry's nose, and they thought it was an aphrodisiac?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to reminisce with you for a second. You can press play.
All right.
Moth-eating fungi as Viagra might sound ridiculous. The medicinal benefits of cordyceps are potentially huge. After all, penicillin is a compound produced by a fungus, and Ophiocordyceps unilateralis has already been found to contain antimalarial, naphthoquinones, and small molecule...
Holy shit, how do you even say that word?
I don't know, but this guy's making me want a cup of tea.
Yeah, like this guy is like, I don't even know how he says these words. It would take me like probably 30 minutes to figure out how to say that second word.
I can't even pronounce the medication I take, let alone this. That doesn't that look like something you would see on a medication bottle?
Yes.
Agents with the potential for use against infection and cancer. So maybe our next antibiotic is lurking in the abdomen of a cicada, the horn of a moth, or the carcass of a carpenter ant. Unfortunately, the two leaders in the field of zombie ant research, Professor David Hughes and Principal Scientific Officer at the Center for Agricultural Bioscience International, Harry Evans, are raising concerns that these potentially life-saving species could be lost. More research requires more zombie ant bodies, but the habitats where these were originally found are being destroyed. When Evans returned to his old field sites, As part of what he calls the World Ant Tour, he's finding them cleared, and the infected ants are nowhere to be found.
Oh, Voodoo knows how to pronounce the words.
Yeah, of course Voodoo knows how because she's typing it. I could easily type them too. Damn it.
Maybe Voodoo's a part, medical terminology. Maybe he or she is a nurse or a doctor.
All right.
Doctor, sorry, I just
Show.
went straight up fucking.
Of course, we're talking about zombie ants, and the Voodoo Lounge would know how to say it. Just saying, just like Voodoo with the whole zombie thing. I'm just saying.
This could happen, y'all. Like me and my sister were talking about this. She thought it was crazy as well. But did y'all really think that COVID would happen? Do y'all really think the Spanish flu would have happened? Do you get what I'm saying? It happened.
It happened. It will happen. And then
it could happen. Maybe not in our lifetime. But if you guys watch the show, it's a little different from the game because the game takes place.
Finally dropped after.
The game takes place in current time, 2013. 2013. And the show takes place, it starts off in 2003. The reason why the producers of the show chose that date wasn't to really give an FU to the video game. It was because realistically, in 2003, it was the hottest day in the world for all locations.
Watch what's going to happen is that someone in Asia is going to get one of these things for a hard-on pill. And he's going to put it together, and then they can somehow going to make this whole that Last of Us universe happen. And I'm going to be a giant fungi probably. Tony's probably going to be a fungi because he eats bread.
I fucking love bread. I'm Portuguese. We love bread.
And the only people that are going to be alive is everyone that's on the keto diet. Like George Peterson will be alive. His daughter will be alive because they're on the carnivore diet. Fucking Joe Rogan will be alive. Like he'll be literally in his bunker in Texas. He'll have his own community.
He would try to go live and be like, "I told you all."
He'll have Alex Jones as his co-host because he's like eating only fucking hamburgers all the time.
Well, Bushes, what I mean is that we weren't, suspecting such a thing as COVID, just like how people back then 100 years ago wasn't expecting the Spanish flu. And people hundreds and hundreds of years ago who weren't expecting the Black Death. When there's an epidemic or a pandemic that comes around, we are not, expecting it. And then when we figure it out and we look into it, you would have never known that the Spanish flu was hosted by a bird. HIV was traced back to an ape. And COVID, no matter where you come from, COVID, I know there's people think differently on it, but COVID was traced back to a bat and a pig. I
think it was a penguin they were trying to say.
Was it COVID was traced back to a penguin?
No, a penguin. I don't know what they call it, but one of those weird.
Oh yeah, one of those weird pigs. Yeah, I know what you're talking about with a long snout.
Let me see. COVID pain. It's weird. I've got to figure it out. I got to type it. It's like something like a pangolin. That's called a pangolin. That's what he was kind of. It's like this weird, it looks like an armadillo. So they were trying to say that the pangolin was the reason why, because they have at the wet shop, like a wet market.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. I was thinking of those pig things that have the big noses. They kind of look like pig elephants. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. But
I'm just saying, like, anything could happen, and especially with the weather change that we're having. Like, I mean, look at poor California, Tennessee. Look at Kentucky. Like, all these places are being hit horrible, whether it's flooding, whether it's tornadoes. Like, weather has changed. Even up here in Boston, I feel like our summers are getting longer, and our winters are like nothing. Like, dude, have you gotten snow?
No.
Yeah, weird, isn't it?
Yes.
Very weird.
All right,
we're just getting rain. I'm just saying, like, maybe, keep your eyes open a little bit.
All right, let's play this. This one explains the game a little bit. The HBO show. So spoilers for anyone. So you got the real science from that guy, and this is like the science fiction universe.
Yeah.
And see how much different they are.
Within the world of The Last of Us have many different subtypes, and they're all pretty much terrifying, hellish nightmares come to life. And today's video is all about these horrendous creatures. We're going to cover the background of what exactly they are.
Oh, pause
how
it
they're
real quick.
formed.
Pause it. Sorry. There's only 2 episodes of The Last of Us that are out. There's a new episode every week on HBO Max. So I think this is not going to go too far into it, is it?
This is explaining the actual infection.
Okay.
Infected explained.
So basically, spoilers for the first 2 episodes and what the
I
infection is
mean,
about.
most of the people didn't even know what Last of Us was, so I don't think it's a big deal.
Oh, did you see this? Real quick, did you see that they have sold so much the games, all 3 games with the DLCs?
I'm not into that genre, so I haven't watched it. I mean, I'm kind of looking for like, I don't know, I got a little bored with a lot of games. I think like a survival horror game, but that game's like
The
not my type.
Forest comes out soon.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'll look it up.
I'm gonna make you buy it.
Yeah. Let's play it.
Okay.
How they hunt and interact, the different types of them, some random lore from the games, and even how they fall in love. Okay, not that last one, but, quick, a history lesson. The Last of Us is a new HBO television series based off the award-winning video game series of the same name.
A lot of people did not like The Last of Us 2, by the way, because you literally beat to death the main character.
Don't say. I was hoping we could avoid that. No. Forget what Tim has said.
No one plays it in this chat. No one had.
No, but it's gonna ruin the game.
Oh,
I mean, it's gonna ruin the show. People love the show.
That's not going to come out until like 5 years from now, probably.
No, the first season is the first game.
All right.
The show is half as good as the games. It's poised to be one of the largest and most talked about shows in HBO history. With a budget reportedly larger than even Game of Thrones and an award-winning writing team and cast, this show is simply built different. If this was stock, it would absolutely be blue chip. Invest. Now, back to the infected. The world of The Last of Us is predicated by an event. In the year 2003, a mutant outbreak of a cordyceps fungus breaks out across the globe. The events of the show follow the world many years later. In the game, it's about 23 years after Patient Zero began infecting others.
It is beautiful,
In the
though.
show,
No?
it's exactly 20 years.
No?
Nick, you're a fun guy. Why don't you explain to us exactly what is a cordyceps fungus? Sorry, I'm reading my own script back and these jokes suck, but I'm going to do a comedy
They're not
workshop or
that
something
bad.
as my 2023 New Year's resolution.
They're good.
A cordyceps fungus is a type of fungi that is parasitic in nature, meaning it lives in close association with a host and at the host's expense, usually resulting in the host's death. Now, there are hundreds of different types of this fungus, but typically they only affect insects and plants.
They look like
Within the
noodles.
world of The Last of Us, a
Yeah, they
mutated
do.
strain of the fungus
Like those
breaks out
crunchy
and works
noodles
its
you
way
get with
into
Chinese.
crops.
Yeah, just like they were explaining. That.
Oh, real quick, let me just respond to comments real quick. Jasmina, Tony, you have to watch over. Yeah, exactly. Like if something like this was going to happen, it's not going to be in our lifetime. It's really not. It depends on how we proceed now.
Oh, man.
Do you get what I'm saying?
You are just jinxing us, man. Because I can have this feeling I'm probably going to happen in New York, and I'll probably have to run to
It's not going to happen in our
Canada.
lifetime.
I'm going to have to run to Canada. But anyway, let's play this part.
World of the last of fungus, but typically they only affect insects and plants. Within the world of The Last of Us, a mutated strain of the fungus breaks out and
Thank you,
works
Sleuth
its way
Mom.
into
Mhm.
crops. Human beings then eat the crops and become infected with the spores of the fungus. From there, the fungus slowly begins to
That's
destroy the
creepy.
neurological functioning of the brain as the fungus takes over the body. Slowly but surely, the human being is no more, and all that's left is a walking, clicking, fungus-controlled stalking death mushroom person. While fungus may not typically terrify you, anybody who's either experienced Athlete's Foot or played the Last of Us series will realize that these are some of the scariest creatures in fiction, period. The country and the planet spin into absolute chaos. The cordyceps fungus not only transforms human beings into these essentially brainless monsters controlled by a fungus, but the cordyceps also instills an instinct within the new being to hunt and kill basically any human it can. After all, the fungus is a living being who on a primal nature wants to continue to exist and repopulate. In 2013, GamesBeat did an interview with the game's creative.
Let me see. It's like what happened to deer. It's like what happens to deer.
I don't know.
It's
I
called
just-
The zombie deer thing.
There's a zombie deer thing?
Yeah, zombie deer.
I never heard of
Disease.
that.
Yeah, there is a zombie deer disease.
Oh my god, everything's just turning into zombies.
Yeah, it's called CWD is a neurological disease that affects deer, elk, and moose. It causes degeneration of the brain. It can cause immense weight loss, abnormal behavior, loss of bodily functions, and eventually death once an animal has been affected.
Oh my god.
So
Nature's beautiful, but she'll fuck you up.
yeah.
I'm gonna look it up, Jones, and it does.
Yeah.
Director Neil Druckmann, where they mentioned the concept of the clicker, the infected, and the mutated cordyceps fungus, and they were a byproduct of a nature documentary, Planet Earth, from 2006. Druckmann and director Bruce Staley mentioned watching the series and noticing how ants became essentially zombies from a fungus taking over their bodies. From there, the two adapted the concept to human beings and thought it was particularly interesting how beautiful the fungus was, as it infects every pore of the host creature, eventually killing them and taking them over. There are multiple ways to become infected by the cordyceps fungus. The first way you can become infected is either by ingesting or breathing the fungus in, primarily through the spores of the fungus that show up near places where infectant are present or make their dens. The original outbreak was caused by contaminated crops and ingestion. However, as the infected grew, so did the spore population, which became the second most plentiful way of becoming infected. Usually, if you're around one, if you have any hopes of surviving, you need to wear a gas mask. The last and by far most miserable way of becoming infected is coming into contact with the bodily fluids of an infected person, whether that is by being bitten by someone who is infected, scratched, or, I don't know, they spit in your face or something. Regardless, this concept is carried over from basically every zombie film, game, or show. It's just kind of par for the course.
Oh, The
When
Walking
bitten or-
Dead.
Yeah, The Walking Dead. Definitely. Deer wasting disease is only present in states where the new Lone Star tick is.
Mm. And Jasmina, yeah, when I say nature, when I say she can be a scary bitch, I mean all of it. I mean marine life, I mean the trees, I mean we all seen the happening.
Burton, good evening, Burton. How you doing?
Hey Birdie.
We're just inducing nightmares and the possibility of the apocalypse can happen, and you're going to be infected by.
Yeah,
fungus.
Jasmina. Read what Jasmine. I can't say it out loud.
BHB is
I said don't read it out loud.
spitting fungus. Well, yeah, I mean, it could be. That might be her new hair plan. Her gain hair from.
Oh God.
Let's see.
Or infected by the fungus, you don't automatically become this monstrous beast. The process takes time as the fungus grows within the brain and affects every major organ. First, you develop a fever, then you begin to lose motor function, and eventually you are no longer you are now the Mushroom Man. Next up, let's discuss loosely the different types of infected there are, as not every fungi is created equal. Depending upon how interested everyone is in the content we're making here, we may make a more detailed video breakdown pending, how many different types of infected we see in the first season. The first stage of infection is referred to as runners. They resemble your typical zombie, as the mycelium forms in the brain and the human body slowly dies. This occurs within roughly 2 days of first exposure. Runners become incredibly aggressive, and they basically run towards the nearest living thing and try to kill it. Their vision is poor, but they're fast, and they tend to exist in packs, and oftentimes within the games and even in the show, as you've seen, they can overwhelm you simply by having 5 of them in the same place at once. The worst part of this stage is that it's believed that, to some extent, the person the fungus has taken over is still alive in there, even though their motor functions are controlled by something else. The next phase of infection are referred to as stalkers, and this process usually takes anywhere between 2 weeks and a full year to achieve. These creepy buggers usually like to camp out inside poorly lit buildings, as the infection within their brain usually bursts out of their skulls and eye sockets. Stalkers have vision, but it's extremely limited, so they hunt within confined spaces using their superior stealth and agility. They kind of pop out and try to snack on you. Stage 3, though, is probably the most notable form that an infected takes, referred to as the clicker. This stage takes about a year to form. They appear less human than runners or stalkers, usually with a giant crown of fungus rupturing from their heads and various parts of their body. Clickers are completely blind, but they hunt their prey using echolocation similar to bats. They use various vocal clicks to pinpoint prey and hunt it, hence the name clickers. They have phenomenal hearing, so in order to escape them, you either need to misdirect them using noise or move so incredibly softly that they can't hear your movements. They are fast and far stronger than the average human being.
This is a game, but also they made it into a TV series on HBO, by the way. But they have
Yeah.
2 games they've created, and they also made an HBO series as well.
Oh, and comic books too. They do have comic books that are from the same unit, like it's the same.
But remember at the first part of how the game world, how the infection started from a crop.
Yeah.
And just like the document, like the little talking about the actual infection when we watched that guy who said those complicated words, he
Mhm.
said it started in a crop and caused one woman, like a 12-year-old, to have like hallucinations to try to stab her own mother. So it's pretty interesting.
There's probably a lot of undocumented too. It's hard to believe that only one person.
By the way, we are
You know.
sponsored. We are sponsored by Keto Diet. No, I'm joking. That was a joke.
You know,
This is our sponsor, Keto Lifestyle. We got some bars. It's just we're gonna start that. No, I'm joking.
If startled or hunting, a clicker will flail their entire body around like my wife if a spider's within 10 feet.
Well, Sleuth Mom can relate to that.
The last stage of infection is referred to as a bloater. This takes an unspecified amount of time, usually years, to achieve, and the exact conditions that caused one to form aren't really known. They are massive, incredibly powerful,
Hey, Pecan.
durable, and
Hi,
they
Pecan.
have thick armor like plating on their body made of fungus. They also use echolocation, but they are far less effective at it due to the thicker fungus covering their heads. Bloaters can also throw sacs of myotoxin that explode, spewing poisonous mist. There is a subspecies of bloater that can occur if the infected is around massive amounts of water, called a shambler. A shambler is effectively the same thing as a bloater, but instead of poisonous sacs of mist, they fire acid off of their bodies as a defense mechanism and a kill tactic. The environment that the infected lives in after exposure determines not only how quickly the fungus advances throughout the stages, but ultimately what final form the victim will become. A lot of this information isn't directly known to the people of the world, as heavy documentation is hard. It requires a lot of recon, which puts people into very serious danger. Now, the last thing I
Yeah,
could think
Voodoo.
of-
That's what I was. Yeah, Voodoo. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, people need to remember. Like, in my head, in the game, everybody infected. I guess they know what's going on, but I think they live in their head. They live in a world like an LSD trip, because
Yeah.
that's how I'm thinking. Like, they're aware of what's going on, because in the show and in the game, they cry before
Yeah.
they attack because they don't want to attack.
Well, they also have gone incredibly insane at that point.
Well, yeah, the LSD.
As Nick, you might be thinking to yourself, if the infection needs time to grow, what's stopping you from amputating a limb to save the entire host? Well, first off, that's disgusting. I can't believe you thought of that, but it is a good question, and that option is entirely in play. There is evidence in the DLC that at least one soldier tried saving another's life by amputating their arm. You later find the body of a soldier with an amputated arm in an air vent, but there's simply too many questions to determine whether or not that's evidence enough that this was able to save his life. Like, we don't know how much time had passed. And that is everything I wanted to cover for.
So
They did that too in The Walking Dead too, didn't they? Wasn't it? Who was it?
what are you talking about?
In The Walking Dead, didn't they amputate? Oh, they amputate Earl's leg. The spaghetti. We have spaghetti on Wednesdays. He got bit on the leg, and they chopped off his leg.
Okay, it's time to smoke crack. Oh no! What's deer wasting disease? What is it? Deer wasting disease?
I'm telling you, we better be kinder to Mother Nature, because she can bite us back.
Chronic wasting disease. Let's see it. Let's see what's that about.
Yeah, they did legs and arms. Yes, I didn't finish The Walking Dead. I think I got as far as Carol going crazy and she blew up a building, and that was it.
Oh, jeez.
So I haven't really finished it. I was planning on rewatching it, but then The Last of Us came along, so maybe that's not even the hair growing out of her head.
Oh,
I was
shit.
talking about before too, and the breakouts in England.
This is the education stream, the apocalypse. We're gonna call this the apocalypse stream.
I mean, it could maybe not in our lifetime, but if the weather was good
Really?
and everything was on nature side, oh yeah, she would definitely.
Okay, so this is the wasting disease. Okay, chronic wasting disease, as Joneson puts it.
Chronic
Okay.
wasting disease, or CWD, a neurological contagious disorder. The course of this disease is quite unique. Normally, an unborn deer acquires the disease from its mother inside the womb, but only starts to exhibit symptoms later on in adult life. This means that it takes comparatively long for a hunter to decide if a deer is healthy or not, which makes the situation in the United States currently quite difficult. Once affected deers become adults, they start to eat less and less and become very thin. Moreover, excessive drinking and urination is quite common in this stage,
Oh,
And
poor
they
baby.
also start-
Indeed.
to show abnormal patterns of behavior. Diseased individuals start to interact less and less with other organisms, and they also exhibit blank facial expressions and repetitive walking. Shortly after these symptoms arise, the deer dies. When we examine the brain afterwards, we can see a lot of tiny holes which make it appear like a sponge. But how does chronic wasting disease actually occur? CWD is a so-called transmissible spongiform encephalopathy, or TSE.
My God, these people with these words. Holy shit. Let me see. Yes, they think it could be part of the Salem witch panic. What is part of the Salem witch panic?
The
who do you
fungus
watch?
that was happening in colonial New England.
Oh, you mean like that? So they basically had the storyline of Children of the Corn, basically?
They could have been all just tripping out. They could have been all just tripping out thinking people be doing magic and shit.
Say that one, Tim. Oh my God. Oh my God, guys. Spongy form encephalopathy. Let's see if I said it right.
I think you did. You did a good job.
CWD is a so-called transmissible spongiform encephalopathy, or
Ancestor. Okay, I said it wrong.
You
Damn
said it wrong, but you did a good job. It was good.
Damn it.
A lot better than me.
Maybe that's not even. Oh no. Oh, holy brain. Holy brain. Yeah. I'm gonna be like the smart version of Mallory. Holy brain.
TSE. Transmissible means that it is a contagious disease. The word spongiform means that we have a sponge-like morphology, while encephalopathy means that the brain is affected. It is
Oh,
widely believed that
shit.
TSEs are caused and transmitted by prions. Okay, prions. Weird name for a pathogen, right? The name prion derives from the two words proteinaceous and infectious. And here it becomes mind-boggling. You see, prion diseases are not caused by viruses or bacteria infiltrating the body of an organism and then causing the disease, but instead by proteins. And the protein which is now
See, now we got you, meat eaters. You got us with our bread, with the fungi things. Now we're gonna get you with your meat.
See, I thought
Oh.
vegan people didn't eat bread.
Yeah, we eat bread. Why we wouldn't eat bread?
I just thought that, vegan people didn't eat bread.
Bread is like literally the foundation of civilization. You don't think anyone eats
Well,
bread?
yeah, I know. That's why I think it's more common,
Like,
I think
what
you
is-
would get infected by bread before meat.
Yeah.
Don't become the vegan teacher.
I'm gonna become a vegan teacher. I'm gonna start this stream and say, "Look, guys, this is what could happen to you." I'm gonna show the infected disease of this deer and be like, "If you eat meat, you're gonna be a zombie. That's
We
what's
need
gonna
to-
happen to you."
We need to cancel him now.
Yeah.
becoming important to us is called PRP, or prion-like protein. I know, a lot of abbreviations, but this is the last one as well. So the protein PRP causes the symptoms we observe in zombie deers. So what does PRP exactly do? A lot of mammals produce PRP in their central nervous system and is normally not harmful. It regulates myelin maintenance, but it is also involved in cell differentiation, keeping the shape of a cell, and also cell division. However, it sometimes can happen that PRP starts to misfold and acquires a disturbed shape. This means that the three-dimensional structure of PRP is altered, and we now call it PRP-SC.
All right, Tony, make a joke quickly before the whole chat falls asleep. Quickly, John. Quickly.
Penis.
All right, we're gonna need Johnson up here to fart for the stream, or cough, quote unquote cough for the stream.
Did anybody ever figure out who was the masked farter in that?
I think it was just
I'm
Jo-
invested.
Johnson just like coughed. That was what happened. She took too much marijuana in her tote. Whatever the
Oh, that can sound no. Jonesin. That can sound like a fart. That's why I
Yeah.
don't smoke pot on live. I do it beforehand. 'Cause
exactly. He's a
it does
professional.
sound like, yeah.
He's a professional. He smokes the marijuana before the live stream and
Yeah.
after. He doesn't.
Especially
smoke
if you're
during.
doing dabs. Oh God.
Oh Jesus. Oh no. No pressure. Let me see. Part 2, we will kill off a bunch and every year. Yeah. Let me see.
Another abbreviation, sorry. And for this conversion from a healthy to an abnormal protein, PRPSC starts to get new features, which now makes it harmful for an organism. For example, they become enormously temperature resistant. They can withstand up to 137 degrees for over 4 minutes. Furthermore, PRPSC cannot be removed by any mechanisms of the cell which would normally start to destroy such proteins. And to make it even worse, PRPSC can drive the conversion of PRP proteins into the abnormal form, which leads to an accumulation in nerve cells.
Mm-mm.
And this is also the reason why chronic wasting disease and other prion diseases can be transmitted to different organisms. The unborn deer is exposed to PRP-SC inside the womb of the mother. And since it takes a very long time for the disease to break out, these animals will also be able to reproduce. Besides chronic wasting disease, we also know prion diseases in other organisms. This now includes scrapie in sheep, mad cow
Aw.
disease in cattle, or Creutzfeldt-Jakob disorder in humans.
How the fuck do you say that word?
I have no idea, but we're talking about eating people now. What does that say?
Mad cow disease in cattle, or
Oh,
Creutzfeldt-Jakob disorder in humans. And since these diseases are all caused by the same protein, PRPSC, prion diseases can also be transmitted to different species, and this includes now, for example, humans. And this is why the aforementioned zombie headlines are justifiable, at least to some degree. What I want to point out, however, is that I'm not aware of any reports in the United States in 2019 of humans getting infected by prion diseases after eating contaminated meat. However, there have been quite dramatic outbreaks of prion disorders in the last century. During the early 1950s, 4 people in Papua New Guinea observed abnormal patterns of behavior in some members of their community. These people would frequently experience body tremor, they would lose their ability to move, and they also would start to laugh randomly. And within 1 year after the first visible symptoms arise, affected people would normally die. The 4 people named this disease Koro, and they believed that there was some kind of black magic or witchcraft causing the disease. However, a scientist named Daniel Gadushek started to investigate this phenomenon and found that infected biomaterial from deceased people might be the cause of this outbreak. You see, some local communities in Papua New Guinea traditionally ate body parts of family members who had recently passed away. If the deceased person suffered from Koro, the infectious protein will be enriched inside the brain, and if the family members start to eat the brain, they will also become affected.
Well, that's got to be
Or
the grossest way to get fucking infected with this disease.
Well, there goes my weekend plans.
Jesus Christ. Prion disease is freaky. That's what we need to be afraid of. See?
I
Oh,
mean, true.
shit. When the starfish gets it, they go from healthy to mush within a matter of a few days. All the arms fall off, start moving around. Yeah, this is the happy-go-lucky stream. This is like the drama-free, happy stream.
Semi-drama free. Semi-drama free.
Yeah, this is the drama-free stream. Yeah, talk about the apocalypse and all these horrible diseases now.
After this has been uncovered, cannibalistic funeral practices were discarded, and the epidemic stopped shortly afterwards. Another prion disease, Creutzfeldt-Jakob disorder, or CJD, was covered in the media during the 1990s. In March 1996, 10 cases of CJD were reported in the UK. Predominantly young adults started to exhibit a form of dementia which rapidly worsened over time. Additionally, the overall personality of these people started to change and their vision was impaired. In the end, every patient lost the ability to move or speak, entered a coma, and died shortly afterwards.
Oh, that's horrible.
These victims did not practice any cannibalistic rituals, so how did this disease break out? Some years earlier, a prion disease affecting cattle spread all over the country. This disorder is called mad cow disease. And in 1993, over 1,000 cattle died each year in the UK of it.
Yeah, that's some crazy shit.
Though authorities tried to stop the spread of this disease, it took actually quite long until the causes of this epidemic was found. You see, these cattle developed mad cow disease due to the practice of feeding meat-to-bone meals. This means that all kinds of unused body parts of slaughtered animals were fed to cows. The result
Pecan.
of this practice was very devastating.
Pecan, I'm gonna quit eating all food starting right now.
All
I'm gonna
foods.
stare at the sun and drink hot water.
Yeah, you could be just like that YouTuber that thinks he's going to be immortal by staring into the sun.
Oh, good lord. Don't do that. I say keep an eye on what the FDA posts. The FDA does put notices out there when something is found out. And just keep an eye on that.
Hmm.
And don't underestimate Mother Nature. She's a feisty one. I don't fuck with her.
Over 177 people died of CJD after contracting the disease from contaminated flesh. Moreover, over 4.4 million cattle were slaughtered in order to stop further outbreaks. As a consequence, meat-to-bone meals are now illegal livestock feed in most countries. Fun fact, however, it is still used in dog food and cat food in the United States and is also used as a renewable energy source in the UK. So, today we saw the devastating
pause.
effects of prion disease.
So they still use it in cat. Monkey, come here. Are you crazy?
Are you talking to your cat?
Yeah, are you crazy?
Yeah, that's Tony's cat now. I remember in the 90s when there was a huge mad cow scare. I don't really remember much of anything coming of it, though.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, well,
What is this thing that Sticky says? You guys should do a show on buttholes. What is that? Butthole sunning.
who said that? Let me see. You should cannibals. You'd probably be fine. Let me see.
Sticky does.
What did Sticky say? What comment?
You guys should do a show on butthole sunning. You think it was mainly? Yeah, it was mainly. I think so too. I remember in the 90s. Oh yeah, I read that. Sticky, not really enough.
Holy brain. I don't see Sticky making another comment.
All I can think about is anal bleaching. Does that have to do with anal bleaching? Woo! Cat scared me. Go. You're weird. I don't know. You might have mad cat disease or something.
Or like a fucking fungi disease. The cat's attacking you right now.
Did
Tony's-
you hear him? He jumped on my chair and yelled at me like he
Yeah.
owns the house.
Well, he does own the house. He does everything.
He does.
And how it spreads. Although the provoked diseases are fatal and dramatic, it is quite fascinating how a single protein can affect different organisms in this fashion. Currently, we cannot cure any prion diseases such as Creutzfeldt-Jakob disorder, but we are able to prevent it quite well. And finally, the concept of prion diseases is also relevant for other diseases. There are quite a few neurological disorders in which prion diseases might be involved in some sense. To give you an example, in the last years, more and more studies suggest prion-like features of amyloid beta in Alzheimer's. We've covered the basic of Alzheimer's research in these two videos here, but let me know in the comment section if you're in.
All right, guys. Let's see what else.
Tim, look up the people who eat the sun. Please look that up.
People
unless-
who eat the sun. People.
It's the
who
butthole
eat
people.
The sun. The butthole people. Eating the
Pretty-
sunlight. Yeah, I know who this guy is. He drinks water and
Well, why do they call it the butthole sunning?
I don't know why they call anything like that. Let me see.
At least we can pronounce it, you know?
What? Yeah, I mean, like I didn't think of me like pronouncing that word.
Hey,
Let me see. People that eat the sun. Okay, this is the eating the sun thing. Let's see.
Oh, that guy
Personally,
looks familiar.
I'm a steak kind of guy. But to a certain unusual group of people, all these dishes are far, far too heavy to be in any way enjoyable. To these guys, food heaven is simply a nice, light meal. You may well think, that's fair enough, nothing wrong with a little bit of moderation in life after all. But when I say light meal here, I'm not talking about salad. I literally mean a meal made of light. Sunlight, to be precise. The people I'm talking about are known as breatharians,
Oh my
and
god.
they claim to be able to live without food, and in some cases, without water.
But wait,
No.
So these people,
even flowers need water.
these people are living in fantasy land now.
Has anybody died? There's a word for it though, B. Breatharians.
Yeah.
That means it's a
They're
thing.
not breathing. They're not breathing anymore. If they keep on with this diet, they're going to be not breathing.
Now, fasting is, of course, a common practice undertaken regularly by many people, usually for the purported health benefits or for religious reasons. There's Ramadan in Islam, Yom
Yeah.
Kippur in Judaism, and Lent in Christianity.
Yeah.
But breatharians aren't really fasting, not in the way we typically think of it, because they don't just stop eating for a matter of hours or a couple of days. They do so indefinitely, or at least claim to.
This is like the banana
Instead of the-
diet.
Yeah, this is like this is not the banana diet.
No, I said this is like the banana. Like it's so outrageous. Why would you do that?
You're still eating in the banana diet. Let me see.
At least that, but you can, you can overdose on protein,
I think
potassium. Sorry.
The butt group. Let me see what they're talking about. The butt group.
I have no idea.
Oh.
I'm fascinated by this, though. I know we're trailing off The Last of Us, but I guess we're exploring a lot of different things that people do.
Why is this it? Why are TikTokers tanning their buttholes despite medical advice? Are you talking about those people?
Are we not allowed to tan? What's the medical? I don't tan my butthole, but how can that be wrong? I have questions. No, like I have questions because I have a lot of gay guy friends, and I know that they would be doing stupid shit like this. And if it's dangerous, we got to tell Reaper.
Oh
Like,
my God. Reaper, no,
seriously.
no,
I'm gonna have to
Reaper,
Google-
no.
Now I'm gonna have to Google it.
Okay, butthole suntan. Oh my God.
Butthole suntan. Okay.
Here, I got the
Please do
video. I got the video.
Please don't harvest solar energy with your butthole, says scientist. That's the first thing that came
This
up.
is, you gotta
Men's
change the
Health.
title of this stream now because it's like and random stuff.
Oh, look at okay. So the first link that comes up on Google when you put in butthole suntan, the first one says, "Please don't harvest solar energy with your butthole," say scientists, and then one down says, "Sunbathing your butthole is good for you." Wellness blogger says.
Okay, let's listen to this. Let's listen to this. 4 minutes long. Let's listen to this.
Okay,
guys.
okay.
Does this actually work? So butthole sunning.
Oh God.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Brennan here. I just want to clarify something that's been going out. I've been getting a lot of direct messages, oddly enough, in response to a social media post, and I'm
I'm
going.
just imagining like you getting a sunburn on in your butthole and you have to go to the bathroom.
Oh my God.
to just share the screen right now. Let's see if I can do this.
Oh, he has
And
images.
what you're looking at, and I don't know the person's name. I easily could have done some homework and checked out who is, but it looks like it says Brian Coon's Yoga and Adventures. So that's probably
Yeah.
it, and not me. Kind of.
Okay, I don't want to see this. Oh my God, we're gonna have to watch this guy.
I'm
half
pretty
naked.
sure we're not going to see his butthole. I think that's
I'm
his-
hoping not, man.
I'm-
like Jesus Christ, man. Why would you ever take this
Mhm.
picture?
But I would like to point some information that what he's doing is not only is he getting a lot of vitamin D, he's also, they say, and I haven't done this because I do sun gaze, and I think a lot of people have.
Holy shit, this guy's a sun gazer.
Oh my God.
God.
Lyle, you got a video from somebody who enjoys staring directly into the sun. and he's gonna critique somebody who lets their inner eye stare directly into the sun. This is gonna be amazing. Press
Oh
play.
no!
I've made the correlation with this post that we're looking at right now, and some of my posts that I do sun gazing. I look directly into the sunrise.
That's why
or
you
the
need glasses, son.
Yeah,
That's
like-
why. I'm gonna tell you right now, Mijo. That's the reason why you need glasses.
sunset for several minutes on end, and I really, absorb all of the energy from the sun. I detox, or not detox. Well, yeah, you do detoxify, but you actually break up the calcified pineal gland in your brain.
Oh no, he believes in the pineal gland thing too. Oh no.
Yo, I just can't with these people.
Okay. For those who don't know, like people believe that the water, like the fluoride in the water and like other things has solidified your pineal gland. It's like the center of your third eye. And and your whole idea is to do certain meditations or drink or eat a certain diet or like stare at the sun like this guy's doing, and you can break up the calcification of your pineal gland. It allows you to gain some sort of abilities, like psychic abilities. So
So you're telling me tomorrow, if it's sunny, if I put my butthole in the sun, I could be a part of the Avengers?
yeah, why not? I mean, just stare at do double. Just stare at the sun while you're doing your butt talks.
Oh, I can't do both. I can't
God.
multitask. I'm one of those people who can't walk and chew gum at the same time. Let me do my butthole first.
Yeah. So that's what the whole pineal gland thing. It's like the third eye. There's a lot of people that believe that if you decalcify it, you will gain, psychic powers and shit like that.
That is good for improved alertness. They say that it improves your ability to have intuition,
Psychic powers.
I
and
hate people.
develop or
I
and
just
and
hate
have
people.
better dreams when you sleep. So I'm definitely an advocate of that. And I'm not knocking this guy. I'm also an advocate of the
Pecan.
butthole stunning.
Pecan said.
She's basically said that we could have lived our whole lives without knowing this. Well, now y'all know. People out there are looking into the
Well,
sun
blame
for their
Sticky.
brown eye.
Sticky is to blame for this. Blame wasting disease on fucking Jumsen and blame Sticky for the butthole.
As he states. I've never done it, and I really want to. I just got to find somewhere where I'm not going to be anyone taking a picture, that's for sure. But what he's doing is they say that through the bottom, let's just say through the bottom, your ability to absorb all of the sun's energy is like 10 times the amount. Because really, when does that area of the body ever get any sunshine? So the science behind it is that it's very, very sensitive. And we all know that the sun provides all of the energy needed for sustainable life here on Earth, right? The sun is our energy. So what he's doing, he's putting bottoms up. He's soaking up all that sun. Apparently, the direct sunshine goes right through, and it really helps with the alignment of the chakras. It helps.
Chakras, for those who don't know, is like in the back, and it goes
Yeah.
up all the way to your head. And it's a belief that, like, if you can wake up like each type of chakra through meditation, you will gain enlightenment.
Mind you, we're not making fun of people who believe in this. You
I'm just
believe
explaining
whatever.
it.
Yeah.
I'm just explaining
Yeah,
that
we
part.
just think, we don't think that shit is stupid, but we do think putting your butthole up into the sun is stupid.
Yeah. I think I'm just thinking to myself, he gets a suntan, he's done.
He's
I mean, imagine if he eats like spicy burrito night and then he gets a suntan on his butt, he's done.
it just takes one visit to Taco Bell and you're gonna rethink the whole sun thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
with the pineal gland. It helps energize you. So I think there's probably a lot of slack. People are really
Yeah,
hating on
Grandma
this guy,
Sherry.
saying, what is he doing?
What did she say?
Grandma Sherry said
If
that's why we say stick it where the sun don't shine, because it ain't supposed to shine there. That's why.
if there's if there's ever a video I was going to clip for Pizza Exposed, this would be it. Yeah. I blame Sticky for this fucking video now. Damn Sticky.
And all that stuff. But you know what? You got to just be open, have an open mind.
Be open, y'all.
One of the things that I always say, and one of my mentors, Dr. Nandor Bajuz, always says, whatever we're told to do by the mainstream, do the opposite. Because
What a ridiculous line that is. Do the opposite. Guys, make sure you don't drink this bleach. It could kill you. Well, the FDA doesn't want us to drink this magical bleach.
Oh, do you remember the whole when TikTok was like brand new and everybody was eating those Tide Pods?
Yeah, and people died.
People, yeah.
It was called the Tide Pod Challenge.
Yeah.
Then, yeah, and then people lick toilet bowls. I mean, people are just dumb.
Yeah.
as if we're told to drink milk, for example, we know that that's not healthy, so do the opposite. If you're told to stay away from the sunshine, do the opposite. Get plenty of sunshine. I know that everything that I've been doing, and
What doctor
incorporating in
tells you
my-
not to get sunshine?
Yeah, I think most people say get sunshine. I don't think anyone says don't go out in the sun and get vitamin D.
Yeah, no doctor says. I don't know who your doctor was, son, but no.
Yeah.
life works because I'm healthy, vibrant, I don't have any problems, and I totally stay away.
You know the most interesting thing? I know we're pausing this a bunch of times,
Mhm.
but it's always like these people that talk about staring into the sun and putting their butts in the sun, and they have like all this money and all this time to exercise. Like, bro, maybe the causality is that you have time to exercise. You don't need to stick your butt in the sun or stare at it. Maybe the reason, maybe just a simple tan and you're good, and you could save your 15 minutes to do something else. I don't know. But I always like the most like fit people doing these crazy ass shit. Like,
Yeah. It's those bougie people that only have time on their hands. And I ain't making fun of you. If you got money, you got money. Do whatever the fuck you want. But if I see this image of you
your butt in
tanning
there.
your butthole, I'm gonna make fun of you. Like, even if you're my dearest friend, I'm gonna make fun of you. If Tim started doing it, I'm gonna make fun of him.
Oh my god.
From what mainstream tells us or tells me to do. So he's obviously clearly enjoying loving life. It's a great post. I'm going to follow him. Maybe I'm going to tag him on this video, and perhaps we could maybe do a dialogue and he can explain all the benefits, because I don't know all the benefits, but I'm certainly open to them. So please, my friends who are tagging me and sending me direct messages, no, this is not me, but I really think that what he's doing is cool. I'm not knocking it. I'm totally for it. So I just wanted to share that. I'm going to stop the sharing now. So anyways, I just wanted to hop on and share that because it's cool. It's a compliment. People see that, they say, hey, that's Brendan suntanning his butthole, but it's not me.
Oh my god, people have been doing this since 2018. So this is like a thing now. This is a part of life. They've been doing this since 2018. I'm looking up articles that are as old as 2018, and this is a thing. People are still doing it. I mean, if it's not hurting you, then or anyone else around you, but he is right. Like, we live in a big city. It's not like I could go outside and tan my butthole in Boston.
Yeah, if
You
you
know.
don't want to go to jail,
Exactly.
like you're going to jail. Like this guy's found a desert and stuff like that.
Yeah.
His luck, Jared will find him there. Like, well, this guy dive right into.
God, we were looking for
Like-
Carol. How'd we find you?
No, Jared, the other Jared. From
Oh,
Adventures
the
with
other
Purpose.
Adventures with Purpose. See, there's so many of them I can't keep up.
Yeah, he literally will just fly right into the guy's like while he's suntanning his butthole. But anyway,
Yeah.
the
What do you
sun
say
has-
to that? What if you're going on a nature trail or something, and like they went off the trail, and they see a guy in that position, and they're like, "Oh my god, what are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm panning my butthole." What do you say to that?
Yeah, you're roboting a little bit.
I stepped away. Did you hear me?
I hear you, but you're a little bit roboting a little bit.
Um,
All right, let me see.
Must be it's windy here. We have a storm coming in.
Ah, shit.
30 miles per hour wind. I can float away
Yeah,
because I'm dainty. All I eat is the sun bile.
yeah. It really shows to eat only the sun.
I do. I only eat the sun, and so
Where-
does my butthole.
Oh, Jesus. I can't blame COVID, at least. Yeah, you can't blame COVID. Maybe this is his cure for COVID. Did you ever think of that? He's never got COVID, so he's cool. But maybe that's the cure we need. Everyone needs to face their butt talks into the sky.
I mean, what makes you happy? Just be safe and make sure nobody's around, or you're with a safe group or something. Do stuff that makes you happy. That's not going to put you in danger. But from some of the articles I'm seeing, someone saying don't do it.
New tanning booth idea. Oh God, no.
Oh, good Lord! Don't give them an idea.
But anyway, do you have anything you want to bring up for The Last of Us? And I would suggest we change the title to random stuff at the end of the title.
The Last of Us with some random stuff. I'll change it.
Yeah.
No, besides, if you guys were interested in watching it, there's 2 episodes. Another one's going to come out. I think they come out either Fridays or Sundays, most likely Sundays. So y'all, if you're interested, take a watch. It's actually really good. They have some of the actors, 2 of the actors, the main actors in it that play Joel, and I forgot the girl's name already, are from Game of Thrones. So it's kind of cool, especially if you're waiting for House of the Dragons to come out. So this is a good show to watch. So I hope you guys enjoy it. And, thank you for listening to us ramble on about this. And it could happen. Please avoid bread.
Oh wait, Jones is a butt tanning person. She has a tanning bed.
You have like your own tanning bed in your house?
Yeah, Jones's is balling. She's balling.
Oh, sugar mama.
Yeah, she's rich.
Mm-hmm. She's not rich. She has a tanning bed in her house. She's rich.
She's rich.
Like there's a difference between rich and rich.
I mean, she lives in the forest, so maybe she considers a cutout log as a tanning bed where it's outside, and that's her tanning bed.
I'm so confused. You live in a forest and you have a tanning bed?
Yeah, she lives in the middle of the forest.
And she smokes pot?
Yeah, she's a hippie.
Where have you been all my life?
She's a hippie. I mean, she's also she's
cute.
part of Greenpeace and everything. I heard that she loves Greenpeace. She loves that thing, everything.
PETA?
I live out in the country.
Sometimes I wish I lived out in the country. It's the cities have gotten horrible. And also ending this, I hope you all keep safe out there too. I know there's a lot of things going on in the world. Y'all just please keep safe.
Yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. You guys have a good one.
Yeah, you guys have a good one. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back later this week. Keep safe, everyone.
Bye.